NFL draft kickoff, what the Patriots did last night, what they could do today, and the same for Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. Good morning. Don't go anywhere.
Indianapolis Colts select Jonathan Taylor.
When he gets the football, it is dangerous.
Big-time defensive playmaker with the 45th pick, Antoine Winfield.
Getting a strong, physical, competitive football player.
The Philadelphia Eagles select Jalen Hurts, quarterback.
He's a winner. He just finds ways to win.
Outstanding playmaker.
Please join us tomorrow for the conclusion of the 2020 NFL Draft.
And that is what we are doing now. We are joining the commissioner today, which is Saturday. I'm hoping he didn't sleep in that comfortable leather chair. Hopefully he got upstairs. Charles, who had the best draft other than the lazy boy last night?
Well, how about the Baltimore Ravens? And that's not unusual, is it? We used to talk about that all the time under Ozzie Newsome. Eric DeCosta, his first lieutenant, has now moved into the big chair, and nothing has changed. They always talk about finding guys who can play like a Raven, and I think they've done exactly that in this draft. Patrick Queen from LSU, the linebacker, exactly what you're looking for in versatility. J.K. Dobbins, another runner, and you see all the way through Matabuke, Devin Duvernay, Malik Harrison, Tyree Phillips. But the guy I'm focused on is J.K. Dobbins. Why? Because Mark Ingram's already there, and he's a hammer running the football. Gus Edwards has been a hammer running the football. Dobbins can be that, also has some vision and a little bit of wiggle to get outside. Love the way he finishes runs. This Ravens team that runs the ball so well with Lamar Jackson as being the top option, are they going to run some wishbone next year? Go ahead, guys. Keep pounding people in the run game, and then Lamar throws it over the top, Bucky.
Hey, Charles, you talk about the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to stay in that same division. And I'm going to say the Cincinnati Bengals have exceeded everybody's expectations by really getting blue-chip players. Look, we can start with Joe Burrow being a franchise quarterback, something that they've been looking for, something that they've wanted. He gives them that. Pass-first point guard does a great job of getting the ball to playmakers in the open court. But then coming back and getting T. Higgins, a former high school basketball standout who, look, he puts the ball in the paint better than anybody that we saw at Clemson. That includes DeAndre Hopkins and Sammy Watkins. And then when you finish the draft and you look at Logan Wilson, a tackling machine and ball hawk, 400-plus tackles, 10 interceptions, a guy that can run down the seam, one of the best that I've seen in a Tampa 2 defense. The Cincinnati Bengals have really done a great job by following Warren Buffett's investment strategy. Invest in brand name, get blue chip stocks, and let them rise. That's what the Cincinnati Bengals are doing, and maybe we'll see them rise up in the AFC North.
For the record, Nike, Bill Belichick's dog, also would have been an acceptable answer for who has had the best drafts.
For the Dogs.
I'll get a first down if I need to.
You see the athleticism of the 6'6", 230-pound quarterback.
The draft, it symbolizes a lot of hard work, a lot of sacrifice.
Big play from Jacob Eason.
It's been a dream of mine as long as I can remember. And to hear my name called on draft day will mean the world to me.
Jacob Eason, I beg your pardon, and Jacob Fromm still have not had their names called. Two former Georgia teammates. Eason finished his career at Washington. Both kind of sort of expected to hear their names by now. Ian Rappaport, Mike Garafolo. Ian, let's start with Fromm. What's his story been? Why is he still on the board?
I would say third round was probably the earliest that Jake Fromm could have gone. And, what's basically been, Mike, the way it's gone for quarterbacks over the past couple of years, usually you take them in the first round or like the fourth round. Either you got them or you just wait. And that really has been something we've seen played out, minus Jalen Hurts, throughout this draft. As far as Jake Fromm goes, the makeup everybody loves. I didn't have any quarterback coaches, any head coaches say anything really negative about the interviews from Jake Fromm, his football IQ, his ability to process. As a person, they love him. It's really just, can he make all the throws? And the original thought was he benefited from not having a pro day because you didn't see him out there on air, not making the throws you needed him to make. Well, in the end, he probably ends up getting drafted likely fourth round. We probably should be, come in, be a backup, and if it becomes more, then it becomes more.
Ian, you're absolutely right about first round or fourth round. Jalen Hurts excluded because the Eagles expect him to contribute right away. But you're right in that that's usually the way it goes. But I'll add something. This year as well, there might not be an offseason. There might be a delayed training camp. So these guys will be further back in their ability to get acclimated with the system right now. So a lot of teams are saying, I see a deep draft with a lot of players in rounds 2 and 3, so let me take a guy who can step in and maybe contribute right away instead of the quarterback that I'm going to have to develop. So Fromm and Eason are suffering from that. Eason in particular, kind of the opposite of what you talked about with Fromm. He's got that big arm. He can make all the throws. He did absolutely expect to be off the board by now. And the teams that have been interested in him, the Colts, the Patriots, the Lions, the Buccaneers, amongst them leading up to the draft. But I'm at the point now where I'm not necessarily even connecting those teams to him because we're at the point in the draft where some other team who didn't spend a lot of time on him might say, you know, forget it. We'll just take a shot on him right now in the 4th round because we know he's got that incredible ceiling, and maybe we can hit on a guy that we didn't really expect to have a chance to draft here.
Yeah, and there were maybe many is a little bit too strong, who thought Jacob Eason could actually sneak in to the bottom of the 1st round. He is on this list, thank you, gentlemen, of the best available quarterbacks, along with his former teammate, Jake Fromm. Anthony Gordon from Washington State put up some big Mike Leach numbers last year, also there, along with Love and Luton, as well as we welcome back Bucky Brooks and Charles Davis. Bucky, start with you. Jake Fromm, you heard what Ian said about make all the throws. What do you think of that?
You know, here's the thing about Jake Fromm and what I like about him. I like that he's a smart, tough, competitive guy. He's a guy who has fended off quarterback challenges his entire time at Georgia, first with Jacob Eason, then with Justin Fields. I think, ideally, he's a high-end QB2, a high-end backup who has the potential to be a spot starter. When you look at the way the game is trending, more athletic guys with bigger arms, he doesn't have that. However, we saw a guy like Gardner Minshew go to Jacksonville and find his way onto the field because of his smarts and his ability to be efficient when he got a chance to play. Jake Fromm can do similar things. We will see which team falls in love with him as a backup developmental guy, but we'll see what he does when he gets his opportunity. I think he's a good enough player to play in this league.
And Bucky, I love the assessment of Jacob Fromm. And now for Jacob Eason, whether he can be a starter, Andrew mentioned it. There was some talk going into this draft that with that arm talent, with those skills, maybe someone sneaks back into the 1st round to grab him in the 2nd round and go. But the issues with Jacob Eason have nothing to do with what he's doing on the field. It all has to do with how teams perceive what they're getting from him. Is he a guy dedicated to the craft? Is he a guy who loves the game? All those things that drive Jacob Eason and his family crazy, those are the same questions that were asked about Jamarcus Russell. That didn't work out. Jay Cutler had to fend that off to have an excellent career in the NFL. Josh Rosen went through it coming out a few years ago. He's likely going to be on his 3rd team in his first 3 seasons. So these are the things that a guy like him has to go through. And remember, when he was at Georgia and got hurt, a big part of him not getting his job back was the team really took to Jacob Fromm and really felt like he was their quarterback. This kid has got great arm talent, exceptional skills. People just wondering about that next step. If he gets the opportunity to dispel that, he could be a starter in this league.
Charles, I know it is early, but you worked Jamarcus Russell into the show, and I raised my coffee cup to you on that one, sir. Let's move on from the quarterbacks. Time now to just add grit on NFL Draft Kickoff. Presented by John Deere. Let's add some grit. And Bucky, tell me, who should the next offensive lineman off the board be?
Day 3 is the perfect time to take a fly on a developmental prospect. That's why I'm saying Ben Barch from St. John's in Minnesota could be the next guy to come off the board. When you look at Ben Barch, small school standout, scrappy competitive player, a guy that was a tight end and moved to tackle, but he probably projects as a guard. We saw him on the Senior Bowl hold his own. I think he has an opportunity to be an eventual starter. We'll need some time. Day 3 is a perfect day to get him.
We also saw it at the Combine here with our own Colleen Wolfe, showing Colleen how he made his favorite smoothie, which he ate daily to gain weight. This smoothie has Gatorade, cottage cheese, peanut butter, eggs, milk, and bananas. I did not try it. Colleen said it actually wasn't that bad. It looks nauseating. I'm just being honest here. I mean, this isn't like the Cheese Whiz thing. I'm anti-Cheese Whiz. Why would you eat cheese out of a can? But this just